what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Let's hit on some stuff real quick here.
Okay, I don't know if you have something ready to go.
I do, but I'd be much more interested in what you have to say.
All right, so we know that the spring window is coming up in less than a week.
True.
Transfer portal. ESPN.com did put out a, hey, here's what some of the top teams across the country need in this spring window. It still went defensive tackle for LSU. And
it probably makes sense.
Well, you've added some. You go get a transfer from Texas. You add to the high school ranks. You've got some former highly ranked guys that are going into their second year as well. You get Jacob and Guillory back, but it does feel like it is still a need for LSU.
I would say this. It is a need, but maybe in a bit of a difference from last year, it's less of a dire need because the position's kind of in a disaster state. And it's more of like, okay, LSU's roster is actually so complete everywhere else right now that it's maybe still the position you could most use additional help at, but it's not in the dire straits as it was last year. Like, I think partially this is a testament to what we talked about yesterday, where LSU, like especially on offense, the two deep is kind of insane, right? And defensively, you're starting to like the 11. But you do have some question marks at safety and D-line. Those appear to be the two spots. This
is a position that's always kind of hot in the streets in the second portal window.
Yeah.
Is defensive tackle. Not even really edge. It's just defensive tackle, interior defensive lineman. So anybody that you identify, you're going to have other teams that are fighting for that player. And so I hate saying this about somebody, but you're going to have to overpay. And LSU wasn't willing to do that last year. They weren't. They went into the season and said, look, we are not doing it.
I would say this, though. All those guys that get paid, did any of them end up being good? I mean,
Barrow from Miami had a pretty good year,
but then again,
it wasn't
the Miami
game-changing.
Defense sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't game-changing by any means. You had the cat that went from TCU to Oklahoma.
Nothing.
Just a guy. He's a jag.
I would be actually pissed if LSU was paying one of them $1 million.
For sure. For sure. And so they did their homework, and they said the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And Gio Paez actually played pretty well. You know, one of the guys you got out of the portal from a year ago. He was solid.
And who was our guy from Grand Valley State that became quite the third down pass rusher? Yeah, Javier Suggs.
Yeah.
Did he hit the portal? Did he leave? Yeah, he left.
Yeah, he
right?
did.
Yeah.
So right now you get Mitchell from Texas. You've got Washington as well. You pair that with, as we said, Guillory. Don McKinley's going to be a starter. I would be shocked if he's not. Is Ahmad Bro going to be a every down starting defensive tackle? He's a good player, but the size. Can he be somebody? I don't know. Can he be somebody that's effective? Absolutely.
I'll say this. I like his attitude.
For sure.
Teamed up with Kyle Williams.
And Kyle knows him better than anybody he knows on this team.
He coached him in high school. That's true. I forgot about that.
It's a different looking defensive line. You look at some of the guys you brought in, Jack Pyburn, who's going to be your ultimate meathead on a defense that's full of meatheads, term of endearment. We love that. What can Gabe Relaford give you? Can he give you some flexibility, go inside and out a little bit?
Yeah, he should be poised to take a pretty big step, him and McKinley, with how they were playing last year.
So, ESPN.com kind of putting defensive tackle out there. I do understand kind of what they're looking at. I don't think it's a pressing need like it was a year ago. When you look at this defense, I would have said that the safety position would have been somewhere maybe they looked before they looked at defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying your defensive tackle room is the best in the country by any means. I still think it's got some growth that you have to do. And maybe you do add a player, but I'm talking about if we're looking at budget and, basically salary cap, I think you go to the safety position because right now Spears and Rogers don't have a ton of snaps. Jordan Gilbert does have a ton of snaps, but he's coming back from surgery. Austin Osbury doesn't have a ton of snaps. There's not a lot of actual plays in that room. Now, you bring TaMarcus Cooley over from NC State. I think he slides in at the nickel position. So for me, if I'm writing this article, I'm saying the safety position at both free and strong.
And Toviano's in that group now, right?
Yeah,
and they like Spears. They have. What's the latest on Spears? So
yeah, I'm going to throw it to Tate. He was basically his agent last spring.
Have you heard any additional Spears hype?
Yeah, I mean, he's working with the ones a lot. They like him. I like him because nobody else is that size. You know, we talk about Toviano, but, you know, he played corner the first year and a half he was here. He played safety a little bit in high school, but this is his first spring really working at safety, at least full time. I mean, you got Tamarcus Cooley, but, I mean, I think if anybody's primed to take that spot next to him, it's Deshaun Spears.
So, again, I should mention this too, guys, so everybody knows. Saturday is the open practice that's taking place instead of the spring game. Doors of the stadium will open up at 9:30 a.m. Practice begins at 10:35. It's expected to end about 12:35. They'll do sort of a pseudo scrimmage type deal. But after the practice, there's going to be a 30-minute on-field autograph session brought to you by Bayou Traditions. It's free. The clear bag policy is in effect, so just know that if you're going. And they'll give you a commemorative poster that you can get signed, or you're allowed to bring one item. But know this, apparently you are only allowed to get one thing signed. Now, you can have a bunch of signatures on it, so even if you bring an item, you're going to have to decide between the poster and what you bring, just so everybody knows for Saturday how it's going to go down.
I want to throw this one back to Tate because he's obviously been locked in on some of these practice reports as well. Patrick Payton is somebody that we hadn't talked a lot about.
Yeah, true.
He's going to have to be game-changing, I think, for LSU, because if you go Jack Pyburn on the other end, he's going to be your Savion Jones, your heavy hands, setting the edge. Can he get after the quarterback? I hope so. That's why he's here.
That's why
he wanted to come from Florida to LSU. But if you're moving Harold Perkins Jr. to the star position, which is where he needs to play, Patrick Payton's going to have a big year for LSU.
Yeah, I hate this saying, but I'm going to use it. He's literally built different than every other edge rusher you have. I mean, even Gabriel Relaford can rush the passer. He's kind of a bigger body. Pyburn came here because Florida wouldn't let him rush the passer. Jamari Butler, he could do it a little bit, but like Patrick Payton's tall, he's lean. Like, if you have a third down pass rusher, it has to be him.
There it is. Spring preview. Get excited for this Saturday scrimmage. Go out if you want to get some autographs. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.